Meditation is not about finding God or finding consciousness or finding heavens within you, moksha or satori, all are those concepts. The reality is that you are in sansar, and sansar is within you. Meditation is all about becoming mature, understanding, wise. Meditation is all about clearing out your misconceptions. And then you reach to a state of realization of your all the mistakes so far you've been doing. Meditation is all about arising. The spirit is not going anywhere. Spirit is always there to take you in. But the matter, you're not giving it up. As long as you don't give up the matter, spirit is incapable of taking you in. The bridge between the matter and spirit is the wisdom. The wisdom is a gift given to all of us. Wisdom is much higher level of understanding. Not understanding others' views, understanding your own mind, reflecting on your own mind, and see and analyze its own runnings without being afraid of its runnings. It's like standing in a balcony and see your own child going through the maze which is in front of you. From your level, you can tell where the outlet is, but the child is lost in the maze. Your body, your mind is like your child. It is caught up in sansar. It cannot find its way out. All you want to do is be vigilant, wise, and become steady within yourself to see where the mind is running, what it is running to, running after, what did it get? Was the running worth it? Did you get a permanent happiness? Is running tiring? And what you get after running, what's going to happen to that? Is it going to come with you? All these questions should be answered. Higher than intelligence is your intellect. Intellect is your ability to discriminate right from wrong. Be steady and see the racing of your mind. Do not be afraid. Racing of the mind is like you and your friends are playing game of small cars. They are racing on the racetrack, and each one of you have chosen different cars, and you want one particular car to win. If the car is ahead, you are happy. If the car starts lagging behind, you are unhappy. All of a sudden, your car zooms and you are excited. You become ecstatic. But then it meets an accident. Then it's off the race. You're depressed. The whole life is like this racetrack. The whole sansar is within you, and you have made it a source of pleasure. As long as sansar is your source of pleasure, it will also become your source of suffering, because only the one that gives you pleasure can give you suffering. And sansar is changing all the time. In this changing sansar, pain and pleasure are constant results happening every single day in varying degrees and in varying amounts, varying intervals. As long as you have made this sansar a source of pleasure, it will also sting you with suffering. So analyze your actions, watch your mind, observe your mind, and see the futile racing that you're doing on various objects of the sansar. They all came from outside, and you are holding them within your mind like hostage, maybe against their wills. You see a beautiful girl. Now she doesn't even know, but you carrying that image of hers within your mind. Now you enjoy this image. You keep fostering it. You keep watering it. You fertilize it with your thoughts, which wraps around her original image. Now that has become a reality for you as a source of pleasure. But of course, she doesn't even pay attention to you. She doesn't even know you exist. Eventually, mind realizes, and no response from the other side. Ultimately looks for another source of pleasure. Or worse, that girl runs away from your life for some reason. You're depressed. We do this same thing with money, fame, objects of pleasures, recognitions. Our life revolves around sansar. The real wisdom in understanding. If sansar does not remain the source of pleasure or source of suffering, what else do I have within me? This quest will make you realize that there is something beyond sansar. The one that is watching the sansar itself is another existence that you do have within your consciousness. It's a higher plane of consciousness where only wisdom remains. All these runnings do not exist. You shift yourself into higher gears, and from the higher planes you start watching your mind, your body, and all these runnings of the sansar which are happening within you. Sansar is moving at its own pace, but your mind is running at its own crazy pace and without having clear direction or motive or goal in life. Your goal is only to accumulate more and more and more. But sansar is cruel. It does not let you take anything without paying the price for it. You want money, you run after money, and you will get money. Nothing is wrong with it. But when you leave, everything has to stay. And when you were running after the money, what happened? You did not look within. You had to look without, outside. Resources were necessary for you to gain that money that you wanted. So your mind, your body were racing against other minds and other bodies to achieve that you wanted. There was friction. There was competition. The precious time that you could have had to go within, realize this race, and tone down your race, slow down your pace, and take a dip within you into this higher state of wisdom, the higher state of consciousness, and realize that all these runnings are meaningless. That does not mean that you should not make a living. But connection with the higher source, understanding and realizing the higher source is a higher priority. Then you will be in sansar. Sansar also will be within you, but it will stop being your source of pleasure, because the pleasure of being beyond the sansar is priceless. The peace in this higher state of consciousness is unimaginable, one that comes once, never leaves you. This is one pleasure that never takes you to suffering, because there is no opposite of the consciousness. The sansar is an imagination within our minds. In a higher state of consciousness, you realize that you are the empty space. And sansar is like clouds, millions of clouds. Some clouds you like, some clouds you dislike, and you are involved fully into this race of these clouds. Some are black, some are brown, some are white, some are yellow, some are red. They are fighting, they are clashing, thunderstorms happening, rains happenings. But when was the last time the space got affected by any of these things happening among the clouds? Clouds come, clouds fight, clouds collapse, clouds disappear, new clouds come. Space has nothing to do with any of these things. You have forgotten that you have a space within you, which is what you are. Instead of that, you have put your identification, you have put your bets on the car, on the cloud that you are being. Your mind and your body is like a cloud, is changing all the time, is fighting with all the other clouds. But be the space by intellectual analysis in the beginning, and then using your intellect, using your wisdom to realize that it is your own mistake to make the sansar a source of pleasure. And that's why sansar has also become source of suffering. And some suffering even is more subtle than you think. The most subtle but a profound suffering is not connecting with Atma. And the time that you have fixed, you're wasting on gaining something which is meaningless. Realize this. Go within. Analyze your mind. Analyze its runnings. And set the definition correct. What is that you want? What is it that you can keep? This realization will spring you away from sansar, which is within you. Don't blame the physical world outside. It is fine. It's you, your mind, your twisted, crooked ways of thinking is the problem. Let them rest. When no goals are left, realizing all goals towards sansar are futile, meaningless, then something opens up within you. Spirit is always there to reward you, and it flows into you. Have a good day.